This is Kathy Biehl of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro-Insight for the week of December 30th, 2024. We're unusually contemplative this week, and productively so. Mars is retrograde, encouraging looking over the past, revisiting, rethinking, exploring our inner terrain. And we're going to take some of that information at the beginning of the week under the Capricorn new moon on the 30th and weave it into our intentions and goals and seeds for not just the coming moon phase, but the next year. Resolutions are a kind of hit and miss proposition. You probably have tried them over the years. People generally tend to wait until after the calendar changes to the next year before putting time into them. It's really easy to not follow through on them, to set lofty goals, to carry the same resolutions over from year after year after year and have them fall by the wayside. This year, the Capricorn new moon on the eve of New Year's Eve has a very adulting vibe to it. It's got encouragement to craft what you are thinking about, what you're focusing on, from the perspective of what would bring you security, stability, not as you've previously defined it, but in ways that address and respond to the way the world is changing. It's got a bent toward small steps, tiny doable steps. In fact, it is the project management new moon. And see if you don't find your thinking breaking down into incremental, approachable, doable action. The crossover into 2025 does come with a sense of pulling back, of reining in some of your more indulgent or outlandish tendencies, and this is consistent with coming out of a holiday season and recognizing that you might have gone a bit overboard in allowing yourself treats or overeating or eating things that aren't normally on your diet. Now maybe you want to pull back and go into a healthier, more, let's say, sober way of approaching things. And food could be the placeholder for something else in your life. Just note a general vibe of scaling back. There's a nice sensitivity that launches the year, maybe a little uncommonly mystical, definitely tinging the air with kindness, as Venus, the social director of the skies, moves into the sign of Pisces. This is the turf of poets. These are the waters in which mermaids swim. This is where Venus is said to be exalted in her highest expression. And this cushions, softens, graces other experiences that could be quite dramatic this week. It cushions, softens, graces how we are going about things in the world. Venus and Mars, what we desire and how we go after it, are in an adjustment aspect and in conjunct on the 3rd. Something has to shift. And that aspect coincides with the big action of the week. It's been building for some time. You might have heard the Jaws theme playing in the distance underneath all of the holiday music. Mars is opposing Pluto on the 3rd. Mars opposed Pluto November 3rd when both of those planets were at the end of Cancer and Capricorn. Now they are at the beginning of Leo and Aquarius. Mars rules war, daring action, the military, the masculine drive. In the sign of me, 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 Pluto, the Lord of Death, in the sign of the collective, in the sign of technology, you will probably in your own life be able to draw a line connecting early November and what you experienced then and then now. And in the collective, in the national and international news, this is bound to bring something major involving attacks, technology, possibly digging up, revealing evidence of that having happened in the past. It's not necessarily that right now there's going to be something that takes out a grid, a bit of the internet, although there could be some instability that comes from it, but there will be a component of past attacks being revisited, being dealt with, being reworked. Chaos is not necessarily the result. The week ends with a sextile, a door opening between the Sun and Saturn. There's a way to deal with whatever gets exposed. There's a way to deal with whatever is stirred in your own life, to deal with it in a way that is stabilizing, that is you claiming dominion over something and handling what it is that you are capable of handling. Possibly starting to implement some of those new moon projects, intentions, seeds that started the week. Going to be a very, very different sort of year. That Mars-Pluto opposition definitely signals that. And fascinating that the air and we ourselves are softened and made more tender and loving by Venus's move into Pisces as this happens. Homing thought of the week, time to put on my big kid pants. Or for those of you who've been in a program and prefer this way of putting it, time to suit up and show up. Song of the week, Inch by Inch, Row by Row, which Pete Seeger used to sing. And the image of the week, I've got two. A referee throwing a penalty flag down in a football game and ripping out stitches in a garment and piecing the fabric back together in a better, more fitting way. You'll find more about this in my forecast for the Capricorn new moon, which is up at my site, empowermentunlimited.net, where you can sign up for my mailing list and book a session with me. The January forecast will be up before January 1st. I'm Kathy Biehl, a professional astrologer with more than 35 years of experience. To launch the new year, I have two programs worth your consideration. The first is a free series of presentations hosted by Louise Eddington, the Cosmic Owl, called the Quantum Astrology Gathering, with many leading astrologers whose names you will recognize, like Rick Levine and Steve Judd, and I'm honored to be among them. I'll be talking about storytelling astrology. This is a free series of presentations that runs from January 6th through the 17th, and I'm including the link where you can sign up. Also, Donna Woodwell and I are holding our annual program to help you customize the year's transits to your chart and understand what is possible, what is being lit up for you in our Write My 2025 year workshop. It's live from 3 to 5 Eastern on January 8th. There's a recording. You get it whether you attend or not. There's a workbook, there's a question and answer session, and I've got the link for that as well. I have lots of bonus content at patreon.com/Kathy Biehl, and I'm really grateful to the people who support my work there. I host the show Celestial Compass on Om Times Radio and TV on the first and third Monday of every month at 5 p.m. Eastern. I also host Conversation on Facebook, on the page Empowerment Unlimited, and in the group, the Astro-Insight Lounge. I post on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads at K.A. Biehl, and on YouTube at the Professional Aquarian channel. Talk to you next week. Oh, and Happy New Year.